And we are back because fuck whatever that was. Yeah,
Who the
know,
fuck
don't
knows,
care.
man?
Don't know, don't care. It doesn't affect me none. I got to restart it, so fuck them. Haha.
Lord of the Nights, yo.
Okay. So we may keep the hangout links to strictly Discord and DMs as of tonight.
I mean, after what the fuck that was, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, probably. Hence the reason that the other one disappeared. If everyone was hoping to have some sort of record of that, well, unfortunately, I won't even have a record of it. So, better safe than sorry, and I didn't want to give them any opportunity to, I don't know, gain access. It didn't look like anybody was going to be able to see it anyway.
Hey, yo.
I blame the Russians. Hello.
Yeah,
What's up, man?
I blame everything. But yes, in the Cartharian Void, there is a current hangout link. So, both Tyro, Kadan, anyone else? Let's see. I guess we need to get Stabby back in here. I'm over there on the twits, and I will find him there.
As far as I can tell, Kadun is not in your Discord.
I love the new title, by the way.
The Kadunta is yeah, she's one of the two people that has their name in purple. Because I just haven't been able to figure out nifty titles for everyone.
Oh,
yet.
okay. She must not be okay because I was looking under K's and I couldn't see it.
But how goes it?
Patron Saint. Oh, okay. It starts with a P. Okay.
Why? I think that. Never mind. ADD is fun. You're gonna say something and then you decide nope.
Is the Opal in your Discord the actual Opal?
Yes, the actual Opal is in my Discord.
Fair enough. I'm just adding everybody I can on Discord because I've only had Discord for less than a week. Like 2 days, 3 days.
You're learning it better than I did, buddy. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I hope Opal did decide to go out with that Starbucks barista.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for somebody I understand the pain of being an introvert and having that just handed to you on a silver platter. That sounds like an opportunity to take.
I don't know, but I'm not following.
I mean, in her position, I would have probably just, not called her up immediately. I don't want to seem like I'm desperate, but I would definitely call her.
Yeah.
Worst case, she ends up being a psycho bitch, and then you just fucking block her shit.
And Opal does have extensive experience with psychos.
Yeah. I mean, more than the average bear.
Is that your sex robot?
I wish I had a sex robot. And I mean an actual sex robot, not some sad fucking sex doll that just has moving lips.
So when do you think the sex doll industry will give us proper sex robot AI?
I'm hoping that happens before Skynet takes over. I've been saying that the Boston robotics guys need to be fucking making sex bots so that when Skynet does take over, I die from death by snoo snoo, not like just get my shit kicked in by a little robotic dog.
I think the tanks will kill you first, or the
no.
Yeah.
Those little Boston robotics fucking dogs will kick your shit in. They just had a video where it took I think it was 10 of them to tow a semi truck.
Haven't seen that video yet. I'm surprised because
look it up. Those things are fucking. It's like their little feet are just moving up and down. You don't think they're moving forward, but somehow they're just fucking going.
I'll take your word for it. I just surprised that hasn't came up on my Google feed for news or
Interesting.
YouTube.
I'll need to go hunting that.
I love science and math. I guess that makes me a geek.
Nerd,
they got
actually.
they got one robot that's supposed to be able to talk and respond back to you.
Yeah, well, those are I mean, because anyone who can program an NPC in a game can kind of make those. It's more the case of the ability to be able to adapt and such. And the cool thing with a sex robot is it doesn't have to be super deep or complicated. The main thing like you would want out of a sex robot AI is the ability to anticipate your needs, like to basically learn what you want and to anticipate it. That way, your sex robot, for example, can cook and clean, do the dishes for you, and then it can expect when you're going to come home, and it can be nice and friendly. It doesn't necessarily have to have deep conversation ability, although that would be kind of neat. Imagine a sex robot where you could have deep philosophical conversations with, or something like that. That'd be fun.
I think I'd be terrified at first, but
I just want snoo.
All of the snoo.
I mean,
I love the snoo.
To be fair, I feel like if I was going to get a sex robot, I wouldn't get a sex robot that just looks like a person. I'd probably get a sex robot that looks like a robot just because it's a sex robot. What's the point of getting something that's fake?
I'd get one that looks like an anime character, maybe like one of the anime robots.
No, that like I couldn't do that. Like that's one of the main reasons why I couldn't go see Alita Battle Angel in theaters was those IRL anime AIs just freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah,
I know what
really
Tyra
well.
wants. Tyra wants one that looks like Bo. Whatever.
What?
Fucking Bo. Man.
Absolutely not.
Don't hate on Bo.
Oh no! I think Bobo is funny, but I wouldn't have sex with him. I mean, it's like no.
I mean, yeah, I bet as technology improves, they'll make a tentacle monster sex bot. I'd be down with that so long as nothing goes inside of me.
That would be fun. You buy one of those, and you buy one of the.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck
ones.
you want the tentacles for?
Well, I mean, they make tentacles with orifices.
Oh, you're so creepy. You're so creepy.
These have become surprisingly easy to do. We are back less than 10 minutes and we're already on.
I'm gonna go die in my sleep.
I mean, sex robots is a very interesting topic. I think that they will be good for the majority of society. Not probably in my lifetime because they'll probably cost like fucking $100,000 a pop at first. But as time progresses
on, my
left
hand, and I'm not going to cheat on my left hand unless it's with gaming.
Exactly.
Well, imagine being able to 3D print the parts to make your own sex robot, and then just download the software.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair, yeah. But you know how it is. Whenever there's some new leading edge tech, it's basically way too expensive for the normal person to have.
How we know that LM is not a sex robot?
I wish.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like look at 3D printers.
No.
Yeah.
He's always recharging in the bathtub.
I feel like if I was a sex robot, they would have given me a bigger dick. Because I'd be a shit. Well, I want to be a shit sex robot, but I could definitely be a lot better in that capacity.
Yeah.
Might as well give me one that's like as big around as a beer can and about 12 inches long. Call it good.
That's fun. Not too many people would want that. Even me, I'll be like, no, too much.
See, that's why
to be fair,
they made you a sex robot so you wouldn't know it, to see how you would function in real life.
I mean,
you are.
I'd say if I was, that'd be a good thing for robotics in general. Just because I tend to give a bit more of a fuck about people than I feel like a normal robot would.
Yawn. I mean, you're so sweet and romantic.
Yeah, I'm with gaming on this one. I think you suck as a sex robot.
Oh, probably would.
No mercy tonight.
Well, yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be a sex robot.
Yeah, no shit.
I feel like if I was a sex robot, I was doing pretty shit. at being a sex robot.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be like the perfect
robot.
sex robot.
Yeah,
You're just
no,
the average sex robot.
Just imagine be built as a sex robot, and then like when my fucking nuclear reactor goes, like a goddamn Terminator, still be a virgin by the end of it. Be like old fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, old Arnold Schwarzenegger, but fucking skinny, lanky, and shit.
Actually, that would be a fun setup for a sci-fi story. Basically, the main character was intended as a sex robot, but something went wrong, like the designs got flipped. So instead of getting the standard sex robot body, he got like some other body, which was not meant for it. But he got some of the programming, and some of the programming got crosswired. So he's like, I'm a sex robot, but I'm not. Oh, and so you have the identity crisis. You have him working his way through things. That would be a fun story. There'd be potential there.
I read a sex story that was kind of like that. It was kind of a mind fuck, but it was pretty cool.
Neat. But yeah, sex robot tech will probably reduce in price the same way 3D printers did. Because I remember like when they were 250,000, like only big institutions could have one. And then there was this big deal about, oh look, now they're only $60,000. Oh my god, now we can like K through 12, like some K through 12 places can now buy a 3D printer. Oh wow, that's so neat. Like LaGuardia High School, they have the big theater tech program in the country, because LaGuardia is the dancing high school. They're the performing arts high school, #1 in the country. They had a 3D printer so they could do theater props. So they taught their students how to use 3D printers to make props. And then came down to like 10,000, and it's like, oh, consumer grade now. Now a person with a lot of money could get one of these. And then, well, now it's like $200 and you can get one. It's like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if I'm going to buy a sex robot, it's going to be a majority function. Okay, like just because that'll probably be the cheapest option. 1 and 2, I think it'd just be cool to have a sex robot. Having a sex robot that looks like a person, I think that's kind of a bit weird, personally.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would, if that robot ever got autonomy, I think it would be a lot more conflicted.
God damn it.
Well, the reason, if I was going to get the anime waifu sex robot, I wouldn't go the Alita route. I agree the Alita route was a little disconcerting because they tried to make her face real and just blew up her eyes.
Yeah.
Which, like, no, I would go for, like, she would look like, Miku or Kazuna AI, So, like, the face would look like an anime character. Like, just in, like, a 3D modeled anime character, like from a CG anime. That's the way I would design it, because you avoid the uncanny valley that way. Because if it's supposed to look cartoony, then you aren't like, ooh, that doesn't look quite right, or that looks like a corpse. You don't fall into that trap.
I hope we get into some sort of altered carbon future, so I can live long enough and have my stack put into various bodies, so I can afford to get some sort of awesome sex robot.
Live big, or dream big. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, just personally, I think in my lifetime, they're not going to make great sex robots. Then again, if Boston Dynamics got on that shit, I feel like they could do it within the next couple of years. But it's going to cost. It's probably going to cost as much as a new luxury car.
Probably.
It'll probably cost as much as a Benz.
I'm going to look this shit up right now and see like what would be the cheapest sex robot they could make that was not autonomous, but.
I wouldn't say it would cost as much as a Mercedes.
And then what you do is when you got the sex robots who can like cook, clean, and listen to orders and do like very basic routines, then that's when you also get the biology people creating artificial wombs. You put them in there, and now they can have your kids. Now, well, hey, now you don't have to worry about crazy woman accusing you of rape because it's a sex robot. It's not going to accuse you of rape.
Why would you want a sex robot to have kids? Isn't that like defeat the point of this sex robot?
Not necessarily.
No. There are people who want to spread their genes to the next generation. It gives them that option,
I mean, I know a guy who he paid 4 different women to be artificially inseminated and have them sign special contracts and or be artificially inseminated with his semen, and now he has 4 beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed little kids who look like him, and he doesn't have wives. He just has mistresses and babysitters.
Damn.
Yeah. So
he has
like
the
a
type of
version
money to throw at that. So I mean, it works for him. Personally, I bet there's a loophole in that contract where one of those ladies could probably cash in, or a judge could just invalidate the contract entirely. So it's a big risk. But I mean,
if he can
Yeah.
afford to do that, he could probably afford the lawyers
Yeah,
necessary
exactly.
to avoid that.
yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
But I mean, there was some guy. He was an F1 racer. He got prenups in like 3 or 4 different countries, and a judge in the UK invalidated every single one of them, and so now she gets half of his shit.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name, but fucking
Rosberg.
Was it Bezos?
no, that's not Bezos.
Okay. Yeah, but it was
God,
someone rich.
Bezos is fucking ugly. God damn, dude.
He's also exceptionally wealthy.
Yeah, it doesn't take the fact it's still fugly. And why is his last name Kisses? God damn it, dude. Seriously?
Because we're a weird species and we come up with the weirdest last names.
What's your last
yeah.
name? Kisses.
So Cadunt wants Alucard. So now the question is, would you want Alucard in the bondage suit, in the red outfit, or in Vlad the Impaler? Or would you want a sex robot that is also a transformer, so it could turn into each of those 3?
She would just want him to be naked. Who gives a fuck?
Oh, and don't forget about the what is it? The like
When
18-year-old girl that
Yeah,
he winds up becoming at the very end.
yeah. From the estimates I'm looking
Oh
at,
yeah, that's right, Curly Card. Yeah.
yeah. From the estimates I'm looking at now, it looks like that their cheapest robot, Boston Dynamics, which I think is the Spot Mini, people are estimating it's going to be like at least $100,000.
Ouch.
Yeah, and that's not including if you manage to add some high tech sex robot shit to it. That's probably an extra like 50 grand to get it like pretty worth the money.
Still, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for the wealthy, or like the
Yeah.
people with the money to burn. So that could fuel that. There'd probably be enough demand to fuel the industry. I mean, you got a lot of lonely bachelors over in Silicon Valley that would want one.
And
I mean,
females.
that's fair, yeah. Apparently you're supposed to be able to buy the Spot Mini soon, so we should be able to figure out a price, but I mean, they could get on that shit. They could make a sex robot fucking be leader of the pack, so to say.
Let's see. Well, I know one innovation you could use for the sex robot to actually make it better is if you use the 3D printing of stem cells. Like once we got better at being able to turn stem cells into a specific type of cell, because you don't need the full, like all the organs and stuff. You mainly just need the epidermis and things like that, with some kind of ability to have it refresh, right? Like an organic bath sloshy thing and underneath.
That's a kind of no. If I'm gonna be fucking a robot, I want it to be a robot. I don't want it to be like part robot, part fucking like bread you left in the closet for too long type shit.
Well, I'm thinking T800.
Well, I believe it could be done correctly, but I still feel like it would. If I'm gonna, they'll probably develop a material that's gonna be better than skin. I mean, TPE is already pretty decent. They just need to make something that's not as porous, and that's something that you could heat up well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, something that that way it has like a heater inside to keep it naturally warm.
Yeah. Well, what I would do is I'd have the motors be liquid cooled, and then have them like specifically designed to run hot, or have a heating system built into it. So you just run the coolant through the whatever orifices. And yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You use liquid cooling, and you basically just base it on blood vessels so that the heat is dissipated through the skin.
Yeah.
That way it's like, oh yeah, that's brilliant.
Well, I mean, the way I do it is I do like a corkscrew pattern around the orifice that's made out of like some sort of a stretchy material, like latex tubing or some shit, where it and then have the rest of the device be built around it. So not only does it push inwards, It's like it stretches and wants to rebound back, but also you get the coolant moving through there, so it heats up all around it, and then goes off somewhere to be reheated again, so on and so forth.
I see.
But if I'm going to be buying a sex robot, it better be able to suck dick well. Okay, that's a requirement.
Yeah,
and make a sandwich.
I don't need a sandwich. I can deal with the sucking dick bit. I got to save the money. The sandwich bitch or the sandwich bit is going to be fucking like an extra $50,000.
Well, sandwich bitch
the
is an
sandwich
actual
bitch
like
will
for
be
like
an
you
extra
can
50.
call it that.
Yeah.
Speaking of sandwiches, did you guys see what Carl's Jr. is doing for today?
Oh, the CBD infused thing over in Denver.
Yep, I was blown away by that. I was like, "Wait, what? That they actually can sell that?"
Oh yeah, because
mean,
CBD itself is totally legal now across the U.S.
Yeah.
It got unrestricted. Like CVS is going to sell CBD products nationwide in their pharmacy.
I mean,
Wow.
right now, that Spot Mini, you can get it with, well, I mean, you can't get it, but on their model, they have one with a robotic arm, and I'm definitely sure you could put a fleshlight in there.
Oh my god, you're such a robosexual. Shut the fuck up already.
I mean,
robots are cool.
Yeah, it looks friendly, and it
Also,
looks like
until it rips your fucking dick off.
Well,
Hold
as
on.
I said, if Skynet's gonna kill us, I'd rather die in some sort of. I'd rather fucking just drain my balls and then have it kill me than fucking just get my shit kicked in by a little dog
I
robot.
could do that for you for free, okay? Stop your bitching. I'll kill you at later.
Actually, I just thought of another sci-fi story concept. So take that flesh encrusted sex robot idea I had. Now imagine what if they start getting novel STDs. There you go. Sex robot STDs. What would that look like, and how horrifying could that be? That would be a fun.
That's why you don't go with skin.
I know. Well, it was just as the writer in me is just like, huh, that would be a fun like body horror kind of thing to explore.
Hey man, I love erotic horror, but that is not the erotic horror I like. Okay, that's just sad and scary.
Yeah,
be adventurous. Told me
it'd be a good story. It'd be a good story. But yeah. Anyway, something about the CBD thing. Yeah, no. When the federal government, I forgot how long ago it was, but the federal government decriminalized a lot of hemp products, and so CBD was one of them. You can't get high from it. It's not like the THC stuff is the stuff that's still controlled, but CBD is becoming more and more broadly available because people are like, oh, it helps with pain. That's a good thing.
Yep, it does that.
I got cramps in my hand and I could use some CBD oil.
Now, do you ingest it or do you like rub it on? Like how
there's
does
a, There's a variety.
You can do either.
Huh.
I mean,
depending on what you want. Yeah, depending on how you want it to work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never used it.
Maybe I should start buying that shit so I can maybe it can help me with my anxiety.
Yeah,
maybe.
it only recently became available here in Texas, but I'm interested to try some of it just to see if it's effective and has less side effects than like Advil and aspirin and stuff.
I hope it would work on me. I have a high tolerance with medications.
Yeah.
Not me.
Would CBD oil show up on a drug test though?
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm reading more into it. So they just said that they're going to release that Spot Mini, or the production. They just unveiled the production model, and the pricing will show up this summer. So we'll see.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers it's under $50,000, because if so, then you could definitely afford. Well, you can't. Most people can't, but there's a high possibility you could save up the money to build your own sex bot out of one of these.
Neat. I think the thing with the Carl's Jr. is the one argument I've heard is that it's more gimmicky because they're putting the CBD in there, but the CBD have flavor. Like, does it impact the flavor of the burger at all?
Oh,
or is it just?
Yeah, it doesn't taste very pleasant.
Yeah, I did not
Like
know that
eating
they were
meat,
putting fucking CBD oil in that thing. I just thought they were doing their normal stoner meal shit.
Wait, but could actually children eat that?
Yep, it's totally legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The main thing they're not putting it like in the beef or anything. They're putting it in the sauce. It's like the Santa Fe sauce, and they're adding CBD oil to it. But people are already like, well, if it doesn't influence the flavor at all, or if it doesn't taste good, then no one's going to want it. Because, I mean, other than the novelty.
They should sell it in Washington. It's legal there, and I'm surprised it's not even coming up. Because I usually get Washington's ads. It's weird. I get other states' ads on Google.
Honestly, I'm pretty excited for the future. I think things are going to be shitty, but I think we're going to get a lot more cool shit.
Well,
Hopefully, I mean, we can hope for that. The problem we're definitely caught in a fork between innovation of cool stuff and rapid onset of dystopian control measures. Like because we're entering that cyberpunk dystopian phase, and despite what all the people in the 80s were predicting, it's not corporations acting alone. It's not the megacorps. It's the megacorps plus the government that's doing it.
Yeah.
And that's
my big worry is just robots replacing all the low income jobs, the simple jobs for the most part. And so like people won't have a job to be able to make money to get a better job. They'll just be stuck. So like unless they have their parents to set up like a college fund for them or some shit, or like a trade school fund, they're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wish that the robots will rise again, or rise now, so they can shut Mr. LM up already.
Rise again.
So long as it comes equipped with sex toy organs, I'm fine with that.
Fucking spikes, and they're all gonna go up your ass.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, man.
They're gonna hang you like a fucking Christmas.
Just because that gets you off doesn't mean it does the same for me, bud.
Not that you know of. Boom, bitch. You don't know.
It's entirely possible, but it's not going to be a pleasurable
exactly. You don't know.
I mean, there is a bondage toy shaped like a meat hook, so I mean.
Ow! Nope, I'm out.
Well, I mean, if it's made out of silicone, it's not that bad.
Oh no! I mean the metal. It's an anal probe. It's got the hook on there. The main thing is the tip isn't sharp. It's got a rounded edge to it. But yeah, you put it in there, and usually you'll have a handle sticking out. And what you can do is if she has a ball gag on, or like some kind of head restraint, you can tie the two together. You can make it part of a hog tie.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
well, I saw
it
recently, which would be, I think, would be pretty decent for somebody if you're in for somebody who's into butt stuff. Is they make this like it's like a pedal dildo, and like it's just you fold it in on itself, so it looks kind of like a normal butt plug, but when it gets inside of you, it spreads out like a flower.
Well, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I've heard good things about it. It's not my type of thing, obviously.
Oh yeah,
but yeah.
And yet the pair of pleasure was too much for those in the medieval times.
Well, they made those too large. That's why.
No, it's not quite like that. I'll try to find a picture of it.
Ooh, I got money.
Ooh, I wish I did.
Yeah, I'm playing Division, the first one, because apparently the game is goddamn huge. I cleared through the whole map, and a whole bunch of shit just popped up out of nowhere. I'm just like, wow, it doesn't stop.
Yeah. Mad Middleman, how are you doing after all the storms and stuff we got hit with?
No, not too bad.
Okay.
Oh shit!
I saw a lot of buildings get their roofs damaged and stuff like that. I need to check mine.
Thankfully, not too much on my end. Most of my roof is now sealed down, both at the shop and here at the house. So
that's good.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. The shop, it would be a lot better if there wasn't 6 layers of shingles underneath all the sealant.
Oh.
Yeah. Get to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, landlord stuff. So fun.
Is it
Yeah.
hurricane season yet? God,
Almost.
Almost.
It's earthquake
Getting there.
season over here.
I'm in Florida.
Is there,
Yeah.
is there earthquake season?
No, I was being
No.
sarcastic.
Oh,
But it always
would be
usually
fun.
happens in the spring or summer.
Yeah, it seems like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
always a very like sunny, good day, and then the shit goes downhill.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
another thing you'll notice if you're ever walking down the sidewalk and you see all the worms are just out on top of the grass, then like
Yeah,
brace
they
yourself
they
because
know.
that
They
like
fucking
immediately
know.
that like an earthquake's gonna happen afterwards. Like yeah, they know because the ground's like compressing and shit, so they just get the fuck out. And they're just all on top of the grass. So if you see just a shit ton of worms all over the grass, just not
Huh.
under the ground, then
It's not
fucking
raining. I
yeah,
see.
just prepare. Just like
So you-
find some place to hold on and try not to get have shit fall on you.
So you're
And
in California too, then?
no, I grew up in Northern California,
Oh.
Humboldt County, and
Ah.
they there's been a few earthquakes. In my old house, we had a earthquake that moved our house over like a few inches, the entire house, because they had a brick foundation.
Hmm.
It was like a 7 point something, I think.
That's pretty fucking powerful. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It wasn't like it wasn't too bad. It was just I was taking a walk when it happened. All the fucking like power lines were just fucking waving back and forth, and
Mhm.
it was weird. It seemed like everything was just like it was like an ocean almost. Everything was like fucking rolling and fucking shit.
I
It
heard
was weird.
I heard the feeling is kind of like something like it's moving you side to side, like left to right, or forward to back. I heard
Yeah,
that's how it feels like.
yeah, it was
Hmm.
weird, man. It was like being on a ship that's moving in every direction.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
like in very bad waves. So it just fucking
Yeah. The worst I went through, I lived in Taiwan for a year, and we got hit with a
Oh.
couple bad ones because they're on a fault line. Now I was on the west. Yeah, hold on, I'm trying to get my bearings. Yeah, I was on the west half of the island. The earthquakes tend to strike the east half, especially Hualien. Hualien's like #1 earthquake central. Like that tends to be the epicenter for a lot of the bad ones. But so where I was, I didn't get it full strength, but oh man, yeah, woke up a couple times. It was like, oh, my apartment building's shaking. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, Taiwan is there's what do you call one of the faults in there, right? From the
Yep. Yeah, the
what do you
same
call
one
it?
that
The
hit
ring.
Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the one that comes down. So Japan's up north. It has the fault line through it that causes earthquakes. Yeah, that same fault line runs down into Taiwan. Yeah.
Yep, I know all about those things. I like geography. Yay!
Yay! Geography is fun, everyone. Hey, you should do
Yes.
a video series teaching people geography.
No, nobody likes geography. Only few people like
Hey,
geography.
I do.
Hey, Animaniacs, you can make it fun.
This is gaming we're talking about.
Fuck you, Matt.
Well, I think people would want to hear you singing all the nations of the world, the Animaniacs song. I think people would want to hear that. Yeah.
If you don't mind
No,
it being
it's all right.
sung to the tune of
This is the song that
Damn it, you started him.
Yes, it
Cancer.
goes on and
Why
on.
did you start him?
And some people started thinking it, not
Stop
knowing
it.
what it was.
Stop it, gaming.
And they're
Mute
gonna
button.
keep singing
Mute
it
button.
forever just
Stop it.
because.
Damn it.
Okay, my apologies. I didn't know that was going to happen. Now I know. Knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
There we go. Yeah, what's interesting too, the GI Joe cartoon. Like I grew up, child of the '80s and all. The GI Joe cartoon, I never regarded as very good, even when I was a kid. I always thought it was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was
Nah, it was
mediocre.
pretty lame.
Yeah, mediocre at best.
Yeah, I mean the
Thundercats
best
was
thing
better.
GI Joe is like the 3-4 minute intro to the movie. Like that's really awesome. But that's pretty much the high point.
I mean, the only cool thing about the G.I. Joes was Cobra Commander.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Baroness was cool. I liked her
Yeah.
design.
Well, I love Cobra Commander's voice. I thought it was
Oh yeah, well,
amazing.
Starscream.
I know. Fucking love
What
them
the
both.
fuck?
Both of them are my two most favorite characters in the whole wide world.
Yeah, Chris Latta did the voice of Starscream and Cobra Commander.
Mhm.
Well, that
Yeah. In fact, there was even in season 3 of Transformers. There's an episode where some thieves like get mind swap technology, so they put their brains into the robot bodies and put the robot bodies into human bodies.
Yeah.
And so they get it from this guy named Snake. And at the end of the show, he's this old homeless dude. At the end, in Starscream's voice, he yells, "Cobra!" But it's like, oh, okay. So they had Chris Latta reprise as basically like future Cobra Commander in that one. So that was neat.
And he did he also did the Starscream for Transformers the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. He did all the Transformers stuff up until he died, which was 92.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah.
Very young age too.
Yeah. He partied a little too hard. The 80s were not kind to him. Way too much cocaine by many accounts.
After
Cocaine or angel dust? Goddamn.
Who knows? Probably all of it. But yeah, he was a comedian too. Like that's the other thing. So he ran in the same circles as like Richard Pryor and all that. Whoo boy, and they were on some strong stuff. Huh?
A whole lot of cocaine.
Yeah. Oh, heroin. Heck.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
geez. I mean, Richard Pryor burned himself doing what, speedballs or something like that. Like the thing where you light it up, and I don't know. I don't know all my drug terminologies.
I don't
Cocaine and heroin mixed together.
I don't even know how to smoke a cigarette.
Same.
The speedballs will fucking kill you.
Yeah, but yeah, we lost the original voice. Although I do like Steve Blum's Starscream from Transformers Prime. It's pretty good. Yeah, he was bad. The best replacement for Chris Latta to date, though, has been Tom Kenny's Starscream from Transformers Animated, because he went full bore, like doing basically a Chris Latta impression, and Tom Kenny. I mean, he's already got that voice by default, so yeah, it's like that wins. That wins. That's very.
I don't think I've ever heard him. I don't think I ever heard that one.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you have.
From Transformers. This should be on YouTube somewhere. I'll find it for you later. But yeah, Transformers Animated was good, and we should have gotten one more season. They wanted to do another season. They canned it. The animation, like the style of it, was very divisive because the style was. But I got used to it, and they had a lot of very touching references to G1. I mean, they had Weird Al as Rekgar, which was great. That was perfect casting. Great job. I mean, it was lots of good homages to the original, very respectful. It was just a good new iteration of Transformers. It was probably one of the best new versions we've had.
Oh, is that the Starscream when he's super skinny?
Prime had him super skinny. Animated.
Well, so did it animated. I remember because it's like a really fat vehicle who's a good guy too that I can remember, and they're very cartoony like, right?
Yeah, that was the really cartoony one.
I remember. Yeah, it was okay. I do have that Starscream as a Transformer in real life.
Neat.
I got most of them.
Yeah, I still have all my G1 Transformers from when I was a kid.
I don't.
Lucky
I've got all this. Huh?
Oh, I said lucky you. When I became a teenager, my mom threw all that shit out, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I had. Well, I mean, I had more stuff. Like I had even though I didn't watch the GI Joe show, I did play with a lot of the toys. So I had a lot of the '80s GI Joe. Like I had the General, I had a lot of the vehicles. That stuff I gave away. Like I donated that stuff to charity, which now they're worth like a few $100. So I'm like, oh well. But I still got my G1 Optimus Prime. Still got him a little beat up, but I played with my toys. My G1 Grimlock. I've got some things. I mean, I've got some gaps in my collection. Like I don't have a Megatron, but like I've got the old timey Shockwave.
I got Megatron as a dinosaur.
Oh yeah, that's from Beast Wars. Yeah, I got him. I got that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, fucking amazing looking. I love that.
Oh, dude, especially the upgrade that he got to the dragon. I was like, oh,
I didn't like that one.
I love dragons, so yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get a dragon tattoo, but I can't make up my mind.
Oh, and I got fresh out of the truck when the Transformer Masterpiece Starscream. I bought two copies of it.
Oh, yeah. I wish I
I
could.
got one Transform and the other one Robot Mode.
Yeah, I wish I could afford more of the masterpieces. Oh, I love so many of those.
Yeah,
I only have Optimus Prime masterpiece though.
I only
Ugh,
got the two Starscreams. That's it.
yeah, yeah, but no, I really like the Starscream masterpiece. What they did, it came with his crown, I think, right from the movie.
I don't remember. Let me look at him. Where's my
Yeah,
Starscream?
I haven't watched the Transformers movie in a
Oh yeah,
couple
he
years.
has the
I need to
crown
go
on.
back. Yeah,
Oh,
I need
I
to go
know.
back and
Yeah,
watch
I
that.
haven't seen it in quite some
Wait,
time.
no. The version that I have, no, that one doesn't have the crown.
Oh, okay.
No, the one that has the crown is the giant one that I have. The super huge Starscream.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one that was. From which animated? That's the one with the CGI or whatever Transformers. The one that Starscream has like a spike in one arm and like a cannon in the other. That
Oh,
one I do. That one that came with a crown. That one cost like $50-$60, I think. That toy.
interesting. Okay. No, because I remember they made one like high end G1 Starscream that had his crown from the movie. I remember
That
that as
that came after the original G1 that they actually made. Plus, they actually sold separately the cape and the crown for whoever wanted to get
oh,
tournament.
I see. Okay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Now, I still need to get the one problem is I got Masterpiece Optimus, but I
Mhm.
got him and then they re-released him with the trailer. I'm like, oh, I want the trailer,
Mm,
but they never sold the trailer separately. I'm like,
uh,
dang, blasted, that's the thing I want. I want the trailer. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, I still love Transformers.
Me
I
too. Well, we grew up with them, you know.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. But I mean,
Yeah.
I even I own the G1 shows. Even now and then, I'll rewatch it. You get some dog if there are some episodes that are dogs, but you get some episodes that hold up surprisingly well. The ones that are animated by Acom are, but the animation quality is not so good. But the ones that Toei worked on, the animation quality on there is still pretty decent. Not a lot of errors. The stories are usually they pack a lot into like 20 some minute episodes. They feel a lot longer because you get a lot of story in them. A lot of things happen. You get character arcs. You get development. All the robots have individual personalities, which
Hmm.
I always thought was neat. Each of the robots has its own unique little quirk or hook to it, which was fairly impressive for what was supposed to be a glorified toy commercial. Like people who wrote it really tried to put in some effort.
Yep.
It's not like, He-Man, for example. Oof.
Oh
He-Man did
God.
not age well. He-Man, oh,
Oh,
She-Ra
I had a bunch of the He-Man toys too.
used to. Yeah. I used to
Yeah.
have some. I got rid of those.
Mm.
I don't have those anymore.
While you guys
I
are
grew up
looking at
watching.
childhood toys, I'm looking at real people's toys, adult toys.
You never drop it, you pervert.
Hey, I'm not looking at these toys for my own good. These are the other type of toys that I don't use.
Mm-hmm.
You should know a
Well,
lot for somebody who doesn't use those toys.
Well, these particular toys, prostate-based toys, stuff that goes in your butt. I don't deal with that shit no more.
I
Once was,
don't either. I don't either.
oh, I know you don't, but you'd probably benefit from one of these.
I no. I like the real thing.
The real thing isn't as easy to come by as just open your drawer and put that shit in.
That maybe for you.
Well,
Mm,
Gaming has game. So, yeah.
yeah. Gaming has game. He's not lying. I mean, come on. I got a blowjob during the stream, so yeah. What you got,
lucky
boy?
cunt. Lucky
well,
cunt.
Well,
comparing.
why do you think it was so quiet for like 40 minutes? I'm like, hello.
Well, come June, that'll be me. Because
Mm,
Lo-Fi will be in the States. Woohoo.
yeah, I can't wait to see you.
As
Or I wish I could see her. I don't know if I can, but it'll be nice.
Wait, are
I'm
you in
gonna
Texas gaming?
No, I'm in Florida,
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I wouldn't mind trying to visit over there so I can say hi to you guys and the Mad Metal Man, since
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
are not that far
Sure.
from each other.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to try to take the time to do a road trip to visit all y'all, just because. I mean, all y'all who want to do
Yeah.
that, because I know some people like who is it? Fucking Addy doesn't want to meet anybody from the internet.
No.
So like,
Bro,
Yeah,
you're
that's
in my
fair.
backyard.
yeah. So
Allow
like,
me.
yeah. But no, I mean, I'm probably gonna drive around a bit. If people are in Michigan, I'm gonna have to make a special trip just because I want to try to avoid all the fucking shitty potholes and whatnot. If I can help it.
Fair enough.
And from what I hear, Michigan has a shit ton of potholes.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, the maybe when this time comes over, because I would love to get like a gaming night or something with you, Mad Metal Man, like board games and stuff. We weren't able to do it last time, but I don't know.
That would be interesting, man. I wouldn't mind giving it a shot. As of late, it's just been, what do I have as far as time? Because, yeah, this has probably been the first time I've actually had a chance to relax in about 3 weeks.
Wow. Ouch.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I've been so quiet everywhere is like, yeah, I get about an hour to myself every day.
Oof.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, fuck the internet at that point. Just enjoy the time while you have it.
Yeah, real life is always more important than online. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Until it becomes your online, your real life. Yes, like Sargon.
Oh God. I'm not gonna even meme that. I memed that thing today all day yesterday.
I don't even know what happened, but yeah, Sargon keeps milking it for all it's worth. I'll give
Well,
it-
he's running for office.
Of course he is.
I just want to see him win that election so I can
Me
see the
too.
people get mad.
Yeah, I want to see him and
I
Danko.
don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, considering how little our politicians get accomplished, I mean, technically he wouldn't be one of our politicians, but politicians in general get accomplished. Why not have the more entertaining, funny shitlords be our politicians? I mean, they might actually get more shit accomplished than your people who are dedicated politicians.
That's how Trump won. Like basically, people were like, "Well, we could go with Hillary, or we could go with the guy that makes us laugh. Let's go with the guy who makes us laugh." Okay, Trump.
They went with that because of that, and also because the DNC completely fucked over Bernie Sanders.
Well,
like Bernie and
I
Trump
am
were the two fuck you fucking options.
I am grossly oversimplifying. Oh yeah. I'm curious how Bernie's going to get screwed over this time.
Oh, he's an old white male. How isn't he going to get screwed over?
Well, the TMC said he couldn't run.
Well, his fan base is still there, though. That's the thing. Like he has the second largest built-in voter base right now.
No.
After he released his tax returns the other day, I don't know if that's as strong as people think.
I think what's going to happen is the fucking identity politicians are going to just fucking keep pushing identity politics, and it's going to fucking lead to a division in the Democratic Party, and from there, the Democrats are going to determine, oh well, if fucking Bernie somehow magically becomes the fucking nominee, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, I doubt it.
But even if he did, they would still be so polarized that they couldn't win the general election with him alone.
I mean, back in 2016, Bernie had a lot of backup, but now is not that much anymore.
I mean, now they're really banking on the identity politics shit, or at least it seems like they're trying to in a lot of facets.
Yeah.
For the next election.
No, I agree.
I mean,
I think that's why probably go for it.
That's why like Kamala Harris, I think, is the chosen one in the party.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I think the closest one to make it right now is Kamala, but knowing her background, how she's like a whore and she fucked her way into politics, I mean, that's not gonna be very well taken.
Just remember, the new left believes that's liberating, and she's a hero. Shit. Yeah, you fuck your way to the top. You're a hero, and everybody you fucked is a
Well, I mean, have you seen so many pictures of Marilyn Monroe? She's a glorified whore. So
I mean, Marilyn Monroe has a lot more going for her than fucking Kamala Harris, even though she's severely rotted.
Yeah, and Monroe was not trying to take your guns away, nor did she like abuse her power to silence people illegally. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'd have a lot easier time being friends with a whore than I would being with friends with a politician.
That's why you're friends with me.
I probably would bury the politician in my backyard.
Oh,
I don't play that fucking game.
Oh, I've had a couple friends who are definite whores, like women who were prostitutes and sold their bodies, and I got along with them fine. So no, politicians are indeed far more problematic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem with whores in like a moral level. It's your body. Do with it what you want. I have more of a problem with it on a psychological level because they say like after I think you fuck, it's like 30 different people. Your ability to pair bond decreases substantially, and then like there's only a certain amount of people you can fuck. Or different people you can fuck before you just lose your mind. The pimps used to call it mileage on a hoe. So like once there's like a certain number every person has where they fuck that many different people, they just lose their fucking mind.
Oh, I think the CDC is also doing a study on it, considering it's legal in other countries.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Italy.
That's why I think sex robots are going to be the way to go.
Oh my god!
I don't want to put
robots one more time. I swear.
I don't want to put prostitutes out of business, but
you're dead, fat man.
I mean,
sex robot.
Yeah. I don't want to put them out of. Yeah. I don't want to put them out of business, but it would be better for their mental health, and they could always just once they get cheap enough, they could maybe get a loan to buy one and set up their own kind of one-person brothel or one robot brothel.
Well, you do realize though, here's the scary thing. Okay, so if every woman now does it apply to only women or is it men too?
Mm-hmm. What?
The limit? Robots? No, the upper limit for like before you go crazy from.
I think it applies to anybody. I feel like, I know definitely for me, there's like a limit that like I couldn't just fuck every single person on the goddamn planet and be completely sane by the end of it.
I see. So now here's the scary part. I think there are probably liberated women, quote unquote, who hit that limit just through, daily life of like, oh yeah, one night stand, another one night stand.
Oh yeah, that's 100% guarantee.
And I wonder if that loss of mental capacity, I wonder if that's what gives us people like Elizabeth Warren or whoever who are just unhinged or AOC who are just mentally unhinged and not all there.
No, I don't think they've run the mileage up on them all the way to their max. What I think rather happened is like either they reach that number where it's like around 30 where they fucked 30 different people and now their ability to pair bond has decreased, or it's that in a combination of I just had one night stands all the time, and then once I stopped being attractive, there's no guy who was into me, really. Like that sort of shit, where they were just completely banking on their looks, and then when their looks started to run out, because like I don't know if you heard, that's the big difference between being hot and being beautiful. Is well, you can't be hot and beautiful, but the big difference between the two is that being hot is a youth thing, where like hotness fades very like a lot over age, but beauty remains eternal unless you like become a burn victim or something.
Right. Right. Because it's from inside. It's how you carry yourself. It's the eternal grace.
Well, it's not just that, but at least in terms of like external beauty, because there's internal hotness, internal beauty, external beauty. But just in terms of like external beauty stays like unless you become like a full body burn victim or a partial body burn victim in certain spots, your beauty will stay with you for the entirety of your life.
Huh. Interesting.
So like, but hotness is just youth.
Right. No, that makes sense.
And that's where like the hitting the wall phrase comes from. It's like, oh, they reached their 30s, they're no longer beautiful.
Plug.
Yeah. Or they're no longer hot. They're just fucking
It's
old.
just I wonder how many of the women in like the women's march or things like that who are actually like legit insane because they slept with so many people that they ran that mileage. Now they're just nuts, and that's why they're such radical, screamy feminists. Is
I
because
mean,
that's the consequence of hitting that limit of being
yeah,
a liberated woman.
I do not think so. Just because like the mileage on a hoe is a lot of mileage. I think for most hoes it's at least over 100. Because if it wasn't, then
Well,
you just could be completely exposed as a pimp because you're fucking say your girl was only good for 100 fucks. That's not a lot of money. Unless she's like top of the line pussy, that's not a lot of money. And every time you have to get rid of a hoe, you stand the possibility of losing your fucking of getting your business fucking like or not
Exposed.
yeah. I gotta leave because Sparky joined so I could hear him, but that's it.
Hi, Sparky.
Hello. Hey, Sparky.
Hey, Sparky.
Well, that would make a lot of sense with the porn stars who do the trains, because a lot of those people are not the same even after just the one shooting.
Yeah. That does make a lot of sense. Yeah, the psychological consequences or the physiological changes that then result in psychological changes are not super well understood when it comes to sex. Mainly because the women's lib movement does not want that research. They don't want any research to come out other than you can have sex as much as you want with whoever you want, whenever you want, and you're totally fine. That's the only kind of research they want to see.
Yeah, well, I think it's just like they entirely banked on their looks, and then when their hotness ran out and guys stopped giving a fuck about them, they think, oh, every guy's an asshole. Well,
patriarchy.
I mean, if your whole stick is that I'm hot on the outside, but I haven't invested anywhere else in terms of internal beauty, then yeah, no shit, people aren't gonna fucking like you anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
hence the backlash against straight white men are attracted to this archetype. Like Miss Marvel is hot, so we have to make her ugly, so they're turned off by it. So they'll start being attracted to the way we look because now we're going to hold this up as a new sex symbol instead of the old curvaceous sex symbol.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you're onto something here.
Yeah, I'm not like I'm not too picky when it comes to looks, and I know that it's not really a huge rarity, but it's not the most common thing. There are a lot of guys who are just into how a chick looks and they don't care how fucked up she is in the head. And so for me, I could give a fuck because like you're just born into the body that you are born into. There's no real changing that, at least not this day and age. Maybe we'll get that shit where like altered carbon where you could put your stack into a better body if you have the money or whatever the fuck. That'd be cool. But currently, as it stands, you're just born into the body you are born into, and you just gotta learn to deal with that shit and like get accustomed to it at your own rate. So like, if there's somebody who I really like mentally, there's no reason. I don't see any real reason why I wouldn't be able to be with them or be in a relationship with them besides their physical looks, unless it's some serious shit like, oh, there's 500 pounds and 5'4", and so there's a high chance of me getting smothered to death in my sleep. Like, unless it's that, I'm not too picky. Like, I mean, like, and that's one of my issues I have with like non-obvious makeup, like what the shit you use to cover up blemishes and shit. It's like, it's just your body, man. You just got to get comfortable in your body, and I feel like it's. Just imagine you wear a mask every single fucking day in public. What would that do to your ego about how you look naturally?
Well,
I feel like that really fuck it up.
You need to stop talking smack about Sparky because I mean we all know he wears a lot of makeup. Look at him; he cannot look that pretty with all that fucking makeup on. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, I've got to use a spray foam to, maintain the space right here.
Yep.
I mean.
Stop hating,
all
stop
that
hating,
motor
bro.
oil and grease.
Stop hating,
really...
bro.
It's like a charcoal mask.
You're hating, bro. You're hating, bro. Stop hating.
No, I think it's like way too many women bank on their looks, and then they like, I don't know, they think, oh, I'll find my Prince Charming, and so they don't invest any into themselves. Like that's what I found. Like most, at least at the high school I went to. I'd say like 80% of the chicks there were very hot, but they were pretty ugly on the inside.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like with the uglier people, or I wouldn't necessarily say uglier people, but the people who are not as hot, they invest a lot more in who they are as a person. Because
when it comes to a lot of like, beautiful people being, beautiful on the outside but ugly in the inside, see, this is what I do. That's why I put my penis in them, so then they have something pretty in them. See, I'm good with society. I put my my 2 cents and everything.
Well, luckily for you, you don't have to worry about knocking up a psycho bitch.
And I always use a condom. I'm not stupid.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most of your partners are of no uterus persuasion.
Mm-mm.
Like I said, he needs to go save the e-thoughts.
Yeah,
go for it.
But it's very similar to the mileage on a hoe concept, Tyro, but it takes a lot less people to do it. It's just like being treated like a piece of meat and wanting that and not investing into a long-term relationship, and then when you want it, you can't get it because you just completely pissed away your golden years.
I think. Oh God, what was the term for it? Hypergamy?
Hitting the wall.
Oh no. There's a thing called related concept called hypergamy, where basically it's people who constantly trade up. So like they date a person, like, oh, you're good, but I could do better, and so they trade off and they find another person. They're like, oh, you're better than another person, but I can still do better. And because they keep trading up, they never settle down. Eventually, they hit a point where they can't. They either have to accept that they can't trade up anymore because they waited too long, or they have to start like looking down because they have exhausted their own value because they waited too long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's called hypergamy.
I think that's going to be honestly a pretty big problem, at least with my generation. Is a lot like men are not the majority of people enrolling in college anymore. They're enrolling into more skill-based fields like welding, the career I'm going into, fucking electricians, plumbing, shit like that. And I mean, those are good paying fields, but like they kind of top out at a certain amount. Whereas with college, it can be exponential the amount of money you make depending on the career you go into.
An area.
Yeah, it depends.
Like on the area.
Well, you have to be in a very specialized field. If you go into gender studies, expect to be fucking sucking dick for a living or washing toilets at McDonald's for a living,
Yeah.
But
see, gaming and yelling, you shouldn't be doing gender studies.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But no, I think that's going to be an issue because most women don't like to get in to go down or not go down, fucking marry down or be in a relationship down with somebody who's less than them. So like if the majority of men are not getting college degrees, then most women are going to have to go down in a relationship. I don't know what the proper term is. Marry down.
Okay. Listen to. I just got a fucking message, and it says, "Do you work at Subway? Because I could really go for a foot long." How is?
That's not bad. That's not bad. It's a dad joke.
But do you work at Subway?
Do you have a foot long? Is the better question.
And do you charge $5 for it?
I just don't want to answer to none of these right now. I'm just like,
wait till the statute of limitations is up. Good choice.
No, but I feel like that's going to be a major issue for a lot of people, just because like, oh, they're not going to be able to. The women don't want to marry down or whatnot, and then you see like it's happening kind of in a microcosm of there's a lot of women who are focusing on their careers instead of having the kids they want, and they freeze their eggs. And most recently, I read an article where some woman, she froze like 20 of her eggs, and every single one of them failed. And she wrote an article like, "Oh, you should freeze your eggs and focus on your career." And so now she has like this Frankenstein baby going on in her uterus, where it's like someone else's egg, someone else's sperm, fucking all sorts of shit just put in there. But like freezing your eggs is not cheap. Hell, in the UK, they have their socialized medicine. They stopped doing fucking artificial inseminations for women over, I think it's like 30 something, like 38, because it's too expensive.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, in terms of the whole like marrying down thing, one group you could study to see what the results of that are, African Americans, because one of the interesting things was you had African American men overwhelmingly murdered one another, so they took themselves out of gene pool. But then you had African American women, though, were very highly favored to go to college and get educated in a lot of cases. So you had a significant number of African American women, college educated, professional career, and so they wanted to marry other African American men, but they tended to be much lower, and so you had some chose to do the marry down thing, but you also had a big bump in interracial relationships because you had
Yeah.
African American women marry white dudes,
I
or
mean, it would be interesting to study, but the issue is that when, I mean, if a bunch of black guys get killed off, there's less on the market, so their value goes up. So even if you're marrying down, their value goes up. And then there's also, as you said, interracial marriage. That's another thing too. So like, I feel like like most things, like AI and other things, it's going to go too far, and it's going to be too late, or not too late, but it's going to be way too far forward for us to make any really significant changes quickly about it. Like, we're going to notice we're completely in the shit by the time we're about like neck deep in it, and we just barely got enough room to breathe. And then we got to figure out how to dig ourselves out of this pile of shit. But no, I'm wondering what it's going to do to like violence levels and shit. Just because, I mean, fucking, there's going to be a lot of men who are going to be pissed off because they can't find somebody to marry. There's going to be a lot of women who are going to be pissed off because they can't find their Prince Charming. And yeah, unless we get like really good sex robots and the artificial uterus, or the artificial womb within our time, or within my lifetime, I think it's going to be a complete shit show in terms of relationships.
I thought that was I thought that was the reason why we had incels and feminists.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
they're the canaries. Yeah.
Personally, I think the term incel is complete bullshit. Just because I don't care how fucking ugly you are, if your dick works or your vagina works, you can get laid, or your asshole works for that matter. If any orifice works, you can get laid. It's not a matter of like if your standards are too high, yes, you can't get laid. Like if I wanted to get laid, I could get laid. I just have to lower my standards.
Well, I have
fuck you, asshole.
I have my theories about incels, and they'll just make tails in denial.
No, I think it's. I guess that's actually a fair point. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but at the same time, I feel like MGTOWs are definitely a lot more respectable because they're just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm done with it. Usually, it's guys who got burned by some woman and they're like, yeah, I'm done with it, and not all of them are MGTOWs for life. Some of them are not, but it's
the solution is traps, everyone. So the solution are traps. Traps are the future.
I mean,
you're just saying that because you're with a trap.
I know. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say no. It's a bit more of a commitment for me because I'm not really into butt stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, if I like a person, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
See, he's doing the sacrifice for me. Thank you, Mr. Lim. I'll be a great girlfriend with a penis.
But I mean, the guys who struggle to find Mary, I mean, I could see them. They'd probably just turn to sex workers for like the physical stuff. But in terms of the emotional bonds, the interesting thing with guys is we do have an ability to say, all right, screw the relationship. We're just going to focus on the career. We're going to focus on the hobby or something like that. That's going to be my life.
Yeah.
There we go. And we can turn that part of ourselves off biologically.
Yeah.
Women, on the other hand, once they start hitting a certain age, they can't turn it off, no matter how much they want to turn it off. Like it's going to blare at them loudly until it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, it sure seems like that. I can't say that is 100% the fact of it, but like it does seem like they get it's like their own midlife crisis where they're like, oh, I should have had kids. I should have done this. I should have done that. Where's my Prince Charming to put some babies in me?
Yeah,
And
it's a biological clock. That's an actual biological clock. That's yeah, no, that one's decently established.
And then like the problem is like when they hit fucking what is it? I think it's like after 35 shit starts going downhill quick for women in terms of fertility and like the rates of like miscarriage and like autism and Down syndrome in kids and whatnot. It's like just think about that. These women, like their average life expectancy, isn't it like something like 86 years old?
70 something, like mid 70s, like 77, 78.
Oh, well, all right. Yeah. So I think if for men it's like 71 and for women it's 78. So they got realistically like, so what, 35, 78? They got fucking, Christ, they got like what, 43 years?
Yep.
They got 43 years of being in that state. I mean, eventually they're going to have to, I think they'll get rid of their denial and they'll be like, yeah, I fucked up. But at the same time, they could end up like the fucking, they could still be blue-haired feminists just without a working vagina.
Yeah.
So
which
just
is
imagine,
what happens. Look at all the second wave feminists. There you go.
Just imagine 43 years of that shit. Women are the majority voters. They're just pissed. Imagine the majority of women are just fucking pissed. I mean, there'd be a lot of pissed off men too. So like, I'm thinking it's just going to be a complete shit show.
Yeah. Now the good news, though, keep this in mind, is while you have those feminists who don't have kids because they're not having kids, they're not necessarily spreading their ideas to the next generation. So whereas the more conservative ones, the ones who are opposed that, are going to have children, so they will eventually outnumber that. So that's the good news, is that demographic shift works both ways.
It's entirely possible. The same time is what's going to happen in between. Like, since women are the majority of voters,
explosions. Yeah.
I mean, since women are the majority voters, and say I hope it never happens, but say the majority of women became sort of like blue-haired feminist types, where they're just like completely batshit insane because they completely shit away their good years and figured out they completely fucked themselves. Like, how long before they start, like, they have mandatory, or not mandatory, but like they have government funded in vitro fertilization, like fucking some crazy shit like that, or like or they regulate, you have to have a husband, or you get some like almost reverse fucking Middle East shit, where it's like, you get a husband assigned to you, or all men have to donate sperm or some weird shit. It's just like, it's the point in between. I mean, I'm talking like this is crazy dystopian nightmare shit that I hope never happens. But fuck, for 43 years of this shit, 43 years of a bunch of crazy bitches just completely pissed off, and then and they're the majority voters. That's a long fucking time. Okay.
Yeah. And they voted into office other women who are like them, who are also crazy. And
so the question is how fucked can we get in 43 years? And my guess is extremely fucked.
Well, yeah. I mean, how long did it take the EU to just completely destroy itself?
Yeah.
Not even 40 years.
Yeah.
Right?
So now just imagine the EU was made up of entirely, or like the majority voters of the EU were all like blue-haired feminists who were extremely pissed off and hated men. I don't like talking about this shit just because it gets me down.
But you keep talking about it. It's fucking annoying already. I'm bored.
You're lucky, man. You're lucky you get a deal with fucking you're fine with banging dudes and shit. And I'm fine with it to a degree. I just need to find the proper person. I prefer a trap or an intersex room.
Here, let's take an idea from Japanese hentai. What you do is you legalize rape if it results in pregnancy. Bada boom. There you go. See? Then they'll have kids because they'll be this is obviously a joke. God, I hope people can tell it's a joke.
Yeah, the sad bit is like what women intentionally poking holes in condoms or intentionally sleeping with somebody with the intention of getting pregnant. That isn't considered sexual assault in the U.S., at least not legally. There's no laws that define that as sexual assault. It can't be charged as such, but it rarely is. And so, like, I mean, do you see it with like teachers sleeping with like fucking like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, female teachers doing it and shit like that? But no, I mean, there are specific cases where the woman entirely intended on getting impregnated by a guy and sleeping with that guy just to get pregnated. Them proving that was entirely her intention, her admitting that was her intention, and she still gets child support, or she still gets, and it's like, I mean, that's not too far off from like legalizing rape. It's not like completely legal. It's not legal to do so. It's still statutory rape, but it's not being charged. So how much of a jump would it have to be for them to just be like, yeah, rape can only happen if there's penetration, and it's not sexual assault either, is what they'd say. Then it's just like, that's a complete shit show. That's when you start carrying a bat everywhere you go. Or wear a chastity belt. I wonder, actually, fuck. That I was thinking, well, you could get a vasectomy, but what if they outlawed vasectomies? I mean, if the birth rate goes in the shitter as badly as it looks like it's going to, like Japan's kind of a canary in the coal mine when it comes to a lot of shit, and their birth rate is going in the shitter. I feel like once birth rates start to plummet enough, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch for them to outlaw vasectomies.
Well, hold on. Remember, birth rates are only going to plummet for some parts of the population, namely white people. The other parts of the population, though, will have high birth rates, and we're just going to import those people en masse. See?
Oh yeah, that's an issue, though.
Yeah. And I've just outlined a neo-Nazi conspiracy theory here. Oh, according to Wikipedia, I guess, even though it's a real thing. It's a freaking obvious real thing. Although in my case, I'm less concerned about the birth rate thing. I'm more concerned about basically what we're doing is taking Central and South Americans, dumping them into the U.S., and then letting them vote and training them so they will only vote for one specific party so they can stuff the ballot and take power and make the country a one-party state.
I'm worried about that, but I'm also worried about fucking them importing people from the Middle East, because then they institute their own fucking caliphate here, and just like, then shit starts going downhill real quick. All the blue hair feminists.
What was her name? Ilan Omar?
Yeah. Well, they believe that she married her brother. Or was it her brother or cousin? It was like...
Brother.
Yeah.
I mean, she did like have sex with her brother, but yeah, she basically pretended to be his wife so he could get a visa in here, yeah.
That's the thing I find remarkable, is like when somebody like I find it funny where like you'll have these people testify in front of Congress or the House or some shit, and they're just like, they'll say some shit and then they'll prove it's a lie a few days later, but they never get held in like contempt of court, or like they never get charged with anything for lying to Congress.
Yeah. Well, if they have the right politics, they won't.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, I mean, obviously it's bullshit, but I think it's extremely bullshit, because what's the point of having that shit if you're not going to enforce the law? Like, why have a law if you're not going to enforce it?
Oh, because you selectively enforce it. That way it's there in case someone you don't like violates the rule. That's why it's there.
So like,
yeah, that's how Democrats do law. The laws for Democrats are not meant for their group. They're meant for the outer group. It's to control the out group, but the in group gets a pass, because they even with laws, even at least with Republicans or more on the right leaning side, like a right leaning, they'll apply the laws even to their in group. That is a more consistent. I mean, there are examples of that not happening, but the right tends to be more consistent about it than the left. That's for damn sure, especially these days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I think things are just going to progressively turn into a shit show. Just because if you got shit like that already going on now, and like with all the other shit that's going wrong, it's going to be a clusterfuck. I'm hoping it's going to be an enjoyable clusterfuck, but from what I can tell, it's probably just going to be a shitty clusterfuck.
It's going to be a lot of pain, death, and misery in our lifetimes here, probably. Yeah. I mean, now there are ways to avoid it, I think, but it's gonna take, like 2016. Trump winning was essentially a miracle, because it essentially staved off the death of the United States right there in one shot. And it's like, oh, so it bought us between 4 to 8 years. After that, you would be pretty much another miracle to extend that out any longer. Which is it gets increasingly unlikely the more miracles you need to keep your country afloat.
Well, I think after Trump's out of office, it's unless somebody who's a Trump-like figure gets elected, I think it's just going to be a downhill slope from there.
Yeah, the only ones I can think of who would be able to like keep us from drowning would be like Rand Paul, because he's very principled. Ted Cruz.
Who's the congressman with the eye patch? I forget his fucking name.
Crenshaw.
Yeah, he seems pretty decent.
Yeah,
but
Justin Amash, Thomas Massey, they're pretty good.
Yeah, but the big thing is like it's just going to be a complete shit show. I mean, fucking when Hillary was the nominee, she said like just before the main election, she said like with the whole Syria deal, they were going to put a no-fly zone over Russia, and they were going to enforce it, or not over Russia, over Syria, and enforce it with cruise missiles and shit. And so you're saying, and she said specifically, like, if Russia flies in there, we'll shoot down their planes. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to take the next nuclear power and shoot down their shit because you set up an arbitrary no-fly zone over somebody else's fucking country?
Yeah. Like, and this is as she is, of course, getting money from the Ukrainians. No, although what's weird too is like the dossier and stuff, she was getting material support from the Russians. So like the KGB was actually helping Hillary's campaign by giving her intel on Trump. Like her opposition research on Trump was aided by the KGB. So I don't know. Like we don't know how much of that was her putting on a tough front and how much she was actually planning to carry through on. That's the other thing.
Yeah. I mean, not to rag on this anymore because other people it seems like everybody else is kind of sighing and getting bored of this, and I can understand. It's politics, it's shit, but
politics is the fun stuff to discuss, though.
Well, just all I could say is discuss it while you still can, okay? Before it's all going to be hushed whispers in the fucking
the dark. Because eventually they're going to ban anybody who dares speak against the orthodoxy.
Yeah.
The YouTube algorithms will detect it the moment any wrong thing crosses your lips.
Yeah, and then some blue-haired feminist in SWAT gear is going to kick down your door and shove a strap-on in your ass.
Oh God!
So furry's coming to your house then, Mr. LM?
God, if she does, no offense, furry, but if you show up at my house unannounced, I'm getting the bat. Okay.
So the regular dildo isn't big enough? You need a baseball bat?
Oh, God. Now, to be fair here, furry is not a blue-haired feminist, so
I know.
That would be okay. That would be okay.
I'm just saying in general, like, I don't want to be tied up with something in my ass and then hear that voice in the back of my neck. Like, that's a no. Like, I'm sorry. Like, maybe we could work out an arrangement, but I don't want anything going in my butt. Okay.
You could belch out the alphabet suggestively while doing that for you.
I don't want either of those, thank you. But yeah, sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
So we have to contemplate the future. Is our lot in life. If only we got like flying cars. Flying cars would be fun.
No, that'd be pretty shit, to be perfectly honest. Just imagine every dipshit on the road had a flying car. And now imagine whenever you got into a car accident, you stood to fall thousands of feet before you crash. And say they make like ballistic parachutes and shit for planes and whatnot, where they like if you crash, you'll lose, or the parachute will deploy and you'll slowly float down. Another problem with that is people have been suffocating or burning alive in their planes because the parachute deployed and they couldn't get out of their plane because they're slowly floating down to the ground. And most airplanes, small airplanes, don't have parachutes in them for the persons. So they just either they fucking suffocate to death or burn to death in their own plane as it slowly floats down. So you have a perfectly intact plane on the ground and just dead people in it.
Wow, that's dark. Jesus. It's like, we need to get a plane. We can't. Oh, God, the ballistic parachute deployed. No, we're on fire. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's like, they get turned into, Oh God, what's the name of it? A hot pocket. It's basically you get turned into a hot pocket.
I was thinking people jerky, but sounds about right.
Like a random barbecue.
Yeah. So he's be like, "Ooh, what's somebody cooking ribs?" And then just this plane's gonna float, just land in their backyard, just softly.
Foil wrap barbecue meat, human.
Yeah.
That's not tasty at all. No.
I guarantee you, if one of those crashes in Mexico, you're not gonna know the difference. Those tacos are gonna taste damn good, whatever the fuck they're putting in them.
Yeah. Oh, I am being in Texas, I am a fan of the street corner tacos. Oh yes. When I was in Houston, some of the best tacos I had were from like a little cart. There's a place in Austin. It's called Art of the Taco. I was at a friend of mine was getting married, and so they did a pub crawl. And so I mean, I didn't drink because I'm not super huge into boozing, but during the pub crawl, we walked across, we came across that. I was like, oh, well, that was tasty. That was good stuff. So I just ate tacos there. Let's see, what's another one? Of course, you got breakfast tacos. Small hole in the wall breakfast tacos are like the best thing. God, there's one. Oh man, I forgot the name of it. I need to look it up. But it's like, I think it's out by Lockhart or so. It's like almost in the middle of nowhere. It's like there's nothing around it. It's like this log cabin kind of looking thing, and they do breakfast tacos in there, and they're great. They're just phenomenal. Like you could have brisket with bean and egg, for example, and which is great, or you could have like brisket with cheese and bean. Oh, so good, so good. And it's all like, it's just a little hole in the wall. It's great. I don't know. Mad Middleman knows what I'm talking about. He knows the glory of the Texas breakfast taco. Is he asleep?
I think we might have killed the stream. Not literally, but.
Uh-oh. Is Mad Middleman asleep?
It could be.
He could have just been like,
that would be pretty cool.
No, he's probably like, wow, these guys are going to talk for another hour. I could probably go just like do a few jumping jacks, get myself a beer,
Well, I can speak firsthand for Tyro. That would be the case.
I can, in theory, keep going. Well, though I'm getting tired though, so I'm hitting my physical limits. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, I've actually got to get going because I've got to get up and finish work on my room. So
yeah, sorry to dominate all of the stream time between me and Tyro. I would have liked to hear you talk, but if you gotta go, do it. Sleep's very important, man.
I got a link from Gaming Yellen saying, "Hey, check your DMs." So.
Fair enough.
So it's not like I came in here with anything to talk about. I was just up looking for streams and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got my outside wall tore apart trying to block a window. So I've been walking on that all fucking day.
Fair enough. Yeah. How'd that go? Or how has it gone so far?
I've got half the window tore out, and I need to go back to Home Depot and get some more shit.
Fair enough.
So do you prefer Home Depot or do you prefer Harbor Freight?
Okay, I'm going to assume you don't know the difference because I need to go to Home Depot to get supplies. Harbor Freight's a tool store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Harbor Freight only has tools. Okay. No. I was just, sorry, I didn't know it was just the supplies.
Yeah. Honestly,
now for your tools though, which do you prefer? There we
go. Snap-on.
Yeah. Snap-on's pretty decent. The only problem is they are not cheap. For shit you would think is cheap, it's like.
Right. Hasn't their quality declined though? I've been hearing a lot of complaints about Snap-on.
It actually depends on who your rep is and who you talk to. So Snap-on themselves, they're good, but the problem is the tool trucks are ran individually by individual people. Mm-hmm. And they're not really managed by Snap-on themselves. You can think of it. You can think of it as like a franchise. So it kind of depends on who your toll guy is. If you got a good toll guy, he'll bend over backwards to do anything for you. If you got a shitty ass toll guy, he's just gonna take your money.
Yeah,
And I got a pretty good toll guy, and I have mechanics in the shop I work with. They'll argue with you all day long on how, oh, I could just buy the same thing at Harbor Freight and just, be on my way. It's like, okay. So I use this example. You can buy a $10 socket from Harbor Freight. $10 socket. Oh, well, really no warranty on them. You might be able to get warranty through Harbor Freight, but a lot of times you're not.
Hold on. I will point out that if you're talking about sockets, there's a lifetime warranty on those.
I beg to differ. It's the same thing that Craftsman has. If it's for home use, they will warranty it. If it's for commercial use, go up the river.
What? Are you serious? You've run into that? I have never had that issue.
I've ran into it several times.
Oh my God! What is wrong with the Harbor Freights you got up there? Because
no, that's anywhere. If you walk in and you state that you walk in a shop or you work for a professional use or you have your work uniform on, they won't warranty shit because their shit's meant for home use, not professional use. Same with Craftsman and Sears.
What? No. That is definitely not the case. Because I could tell you here in Texas, they've got a lot of auto guys. They'll go like to the local Harbor Freight, drop it off, and get a brand new one in their uniform. That does not happen around here. Wow, that is a very different experience.
It depends around the area.
Yeah.
But
your Harbor Freight suck up there. Jeez.
Yeah, but from what I'm faced with around here, say you get a cheapo depot socket for about $10 and you snap it. Say it's a chrome socket and you snap it, use an impact on it. They're not gonna warranty it. I can buy the same socket from Snap-on and snap it. But if I use a impact on it or not, just depending on who it is, they'll warranty it. And the problem is, some tools can be warranted, some tools won't. The downfall, basically, what it is how long they last for, and how long you get warranted for.
Yeah. So what is the warranty on like that? Well, you mentioned the impact. So how long is the warranty on a Snap-on usually?
Lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's actually pretty good.
Now,
because Harbor Freight does a max of 2 years on stuff like impact.
Yeah, it's lifetime. Yeah, it's lifetime. So yeah, you can buy a cheapo depot socket for $10. I can tell you right now, if you use it for any kind of substantial use, you will snap it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You will snap it. Yep. And after so many times replacing the same socket, they'll tell you beat feet or won't replace it or anything like that. However, with Snap-on, you might pay $50 for the socket, but it's a lifetime warranty. So by the time they buy 5 sockets, you've already got your money out of yours. And I've yet to snap a Snap-on.
Okay.
Electrical test equipment's a little bit different, though. It's usually a 1 to 2 year warranty.
Oh, okay. So they do have differences on that. Okay.
It depends on what it is.
Oh, and we lost Gaming and Yelling. I guess he didn't like the tool talk.
Yeah, we lost everybody. But
Gaming and Yelling is a tool, so.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Well,
and, Green Badger says roadside tacos, hard pass. You can keep your food poisoning. Hey, here in Texas, we take our tacos very seriously. Any taco stand that gave food poisoning to their customers would be closed pretty much overnight. As the main trick with that is if you see a lot of Hispanic people eating the tacos there, it's safe to eat because they are not going to eat at a place that would give them food poisoning. Now, of course, mind you, their stomachs could be stronger than yours. that's also the trade-off. My stomach's decently robust, at least when it comes to food. So I can usually eat where they eat, and I'm totally fine. But yeah, there are some people where, yeah, they might get hit in a bad way.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's pretty hard to fuck up like carnitas and shit just because it's really thin steak and it's almost always well done whenever you get it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
the
so,
most that you're. Oh, sorry.
I mean, all I can really say is like if you're eating shit made in the U.S., you're probably going to be good. If you're eating shit made in other countries that are like third or second world, I'd suppose,
Like Mexico.
Yeah, it could be iffy.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends.
All right.
I have a pretty. I don't have an iron gut. I have a pretty stable gut, but it's consistent in the sense that if I'm not eating something that's overly healthy, I'm going to get diarrhea. My only worry is I don't want to get the fucking food poisoning where I'm puking and shitting, or pissing out my ass rather, because I can handle the pissing out my ass. I did that the entirety of my fucking childhood because I ate like a fucking. I ate horribly, but. And I also did it for some of my adulthood as well. But that I can handle. The puking bit, I do not like puking.
Yeah, no, vomiting is bad. It is, the vomiting is one of my least favorite sensations.
Yeah,
easily.
I mean,
well, when you get done, I want to address something in chat.
Let's see. Jolly Roger?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm curious. This is actually interesting to me because I know something about a bit about tools and stuff. So, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, I'm not gonna deny that other tool companies are gonna have better warranty, and some of the stuff's gonna last longer. Like OTC, they make good tools. Hell, SNK make good tools. Here's the issue. When you're in a shop and you're working as a mechanic, it all depends on availability of those tools, because some people, depending on situations, you can't wait 1 week or 2 weeks for shipping to find a tool to get it in, all that good stuff. So I have a good standing with my Snap-on dealer, my Cornwall dealer, and my Matco dealer. And one, I like buying tools from Tool Truck because of onboard credit. I have a running tab on all the tool trucks, and if I need a tool, say tool truck comes around and I just need a tool that day, I grab a tool on truck and just make payments to them. Usually any other company like Harbor Freight or Sears or anything you buy online, you got to pay outright. So here's a little bit of an example. I bought a Snap-on thermal imager that cost me $1,400. I needed it to help diagnose a truck we were having issues with misfiring injectors. There's no way in hell I could just went to some store in town or online and paid $1,400 right then and there for the thermal imager, but I can get it for a Snap-on truck and just make weekly payments on it. So it depends a lot on situations and all that good stuff, what you have available to you. So I'm not going to deny some warranties are better, but it also depends on, like I said, situations. Any other questions?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm just still amazed that the Harbor Freights you have up in Oklahoma suck like that.
Oh, that's Missouri. We don't have any Harbor Freights in Oklahoma. The only Harbor Freights I know around here, like in Tulsa and big cities, which nowhere around here.
Oh, okay. That could also be a factor then. Yeah, because I mean we've got where I live, there's like 4 in driving distance.
So you got to look at. It's not necessarily the company themselves. So Harbor Freight themselves, and like if I was to contact them and then ship the tool in or filed a big enough complaint, I probably could get warranty. Yeah. You got to look at the stores around here. A lot of the stores or a franchise type basis. So they're not controlled by Harbor Freight. Same with like my Peterbilt. My Peterbilt I work at is not owned and ran by Peterbilt Motors. They're franchise ran by someone else. We are licensed through Peterbilt to sell, work on, maintain, and get training on, and do warranties on Peterbilt trucks. But we don't follow their standards fully. We have our own standards we run by. So it depends. What is it? Is it ran by Harbor Freight themselves, or is it ran by some person that has the ability to get, sell, and distribute Harbor Freight tools?
My understanding of Harbor Freight's a private-owned company. I don't think it does franchise. I think it does like it's got a retail model where the corporate controls all the storefronts. Now, I do know though the store manager does make a big difference there because the store manager has a lot of discretion on whether they are going to honor the warranty. So if the store manager is a jerk,
store manager is usually the ones that own the building. So that's a type of franchise.
Yeah. So if the store manager is a jerk, he could be like, "No, I'm not going to honor it because you're clearly used for work." Whereas, like around here, that's not an issue.
Yeah. Like with Radio Shack. So everyone knows a little story about Radio Shack, right? It's out of business, correct?
Yeah.
We have 5 of them still. That's still open.
Right. Because they still have the name.
Well, they still use the name, but they're franchises. They're privately owned. So franchise, privately owned, there's many different ways you can go about it. But the bottom line is they're not controlled by the main name, the main corporation. So the Harbor Freight down here probably, if the head honcho corporate, the main Harbor Freight store has no fucking control over a privately owned store. They can say, well, we're not going to sell tools to you anymore, or we're not going to have, distribute to you anymore. That's about all that they can do. But usually that rarely happens.
Yeah. Yeah, you have 425 independently owned authorized dealer stores. That's how they exist now. They apparently also supply parts for Hobbytown. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the name's still around, but yeah, the company itself is pretty much bleh.
Yeah. But yeah, like I know of 5 of them that I go to around the area that still use the name Radio Shack because it's a well-known name. But they have their own private names behind that. They just use the name Radio Shack because, hey, we want to sell electronic ports. Let's just keep the name Radio Shack because people will know what that is. People may not know what, we sell and deal with if we go by this name.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. You're correct. They will fuck your face up if you let them. I have a DeWalt electric drill that if you're drilling for a frame rail and you don't hold that drill the right way, it will break your fucking arm.
Ooh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to drilling with it one day and got my goddamn hand pinched between a frame rail and the drill in such a way I couldn't let go of the fucking trigger.
Yeah, that I never done that.
That's when you yell, you cuss, and you reach for the battery and you try to take the fucking battery out or something.
Cordless, man. That's why that's where you go with the cord, so you can just yank that shit as hard as you fucking can.
Oh, I don't own any air tools anymore. The only air tools I own, like a blowgun, a tire chuck, and 2 die grinders.
Well, I mean, you can go with electric.
That's about it.
You can go with electric, not necessarily in air. But like,
well, again, I go with all battery tools because it's a lot easier, and sometimes we have to, I have all electric impacts, and I have all electric impacts for a reason. So, say we have a truck towed in, Whenever you have a truck that's sold in, usually they take the axle shafts out, and they have, I believe, 8, 15, 16 size bolts that hold them on. They'll happen a lot when they drop them off.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have a air impact, you're gonna have to get 4 or 5 air hoses, string them out to the truck.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Set up and get the nuts on it, or you take a ratchet out there and you manually turn each fucking bolt until it's tight, or you pop a battery in your electric impact and you pop the axle in. So,
but you have any opinion? You have any opinion on Makita tools?
I don't use Makita. I primarily use Milwaukee. Well, I primarily use DeWalt, and I have some Milwaukee because the cordless DeWalt doesn't make a cordless ratchet, and they don't make a cordless soldering iron. And that's the only 2 Milwaukee tools I have is a cordless soldering iron and a electric ratchet in my box. Everything else is primarily DeWalt. I've got a bore scope, half-inch impact, 3/4-inch impact, 3/8 impacts, right angle drill, full size drill, bit driver, several other tools. I've got a battery powered inverter and a couple other things.
Now, don't electric impacts though have less torque than the air powered ones? I thought that's why people prefer air to electric.
My DeWalt half-inch impact put both my snap-on and my Mac impacts to shame.
Oh, fascinating.
I'll put you like this: my DeWalt half-inch impact will break loose head bolts on a Cummins and Caterpillar engine that a 3/4-inch air impact won't touch.
No. Aren't most DeWalt, or well, I'd say most tools are, but aren't most DeWalt tools made in China now?
What tool isn't?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know it's hard to do, but personally, if I can buy American, I do try to, just because it's. I mean, I don't like buying things from a country that has really shit human rights standards and is kind of a surveillance state. And it's same thing goes for other countries too.
Well,
China has a perfect human rights record. What are you talking about? There are no human rights violations in China whatsoever. What are you saying? I'm not sponsored by Tencent. How dare you suggest that?
I mean, I'm not hating on you. It's personal preference.
I know. I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Now, I'm probably gonna sound.
Oh, is
I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna sound this, but whenever I'm getting stuff for my job, I admire your compassion for your stance, Mr. ML, but I've got, you got to face reality. I've got to have tools to help me do my job because my job pays my bills. And it's also my productivity. And it's also my way of working my way up through the company. It's also my way of maintaining my efficiency and getting my pay raises for the year. So I'm going to use any tool I can that's as good as it can. So
yeah, I understand.
I mean, if it's something that it's a stance you have and you want to use it for like, your own personal use and stuff like that, I'm not going to argue with that. But I mean, if you're in a shop and you're severely lacking because you refuse to buy a tool because it's made from a certain country, you're going to get told to find another job.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree, because I mean, it's nice to be able to have something that you can get at any store or whatever, Home Depot, whatever the fuck.
Let me put you like this. So, Peterbilt, right?
Yeah.
American made truck. Well, that's how it started out with. Paco engine is actually the DOF engine from Europe.
Yeah. No, I understand. I know most shit. We live in a global economy, so most shit is fucking outsourced. But like
There's not a standard bolt one left on any of these fucking trucks on the road. They're all metric.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me. But at the same time, I understand we're a global economy and we get shit everywhere from everywhere. But like personally, I don't like buying shit from like China or fucking. I try to avoid buying shit from like India and like Malaysia and shit like that. Like places where they're paying people shit wages to do shit jobs. And then China's kind of worse because it has a surveillance state and a really shitty human rights record and stuff. So, like for personal use, I just try to buy it. I understand for a commercial job, yeah, you go with what's convenient, available, and works, and also what's cheaper. I mean, it would suck. I mean, you'd probably lose your job to say your impact wrench broke and you couldn't get the one that you wanted for like 4 weeks because it was from some fucking American company and they don't have rush shipping, or you can't just go to a Home Depot and buy it. You have to buy it from their site or some shit.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know how it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because unfortunately, my kind of job, you're treated like a cog in a machine. Now, I say that term loosely. I know my bosses want to do that because they rely a lot on my knowledge. A lot of things I do in the shop is mostly diagnostics and stuff like that. So luckily, I don't have to do the heavy duty stuff that some of the other mechanics have to do. I don't have to do the wheel seals or the transmissions or the clutch jobs that some of the other guys do. So I have stuff to do it. I don't have to.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff I do is some of the stuff that they can't do. So it's kind of a happy trade off. But no, end of the day, you're a human being, but you're also a cog in a machine. And if you're not able to do your job, I mean, beat feet.
Yeah, I understand. And yeah, I mean, it's just a person.
Wait, we lost that middleman.
Oh.
So the stream will die in 20 minutes.
Something like that.
So it does? Okay, so
yeah,
now
the streams suicide themselves when the main host leaves. Yeah.
Okay, so we got 20 minutes. Time to break out the real shit.
Yeah.
The shit we couldn't have with Mad Metal Man on, as odd as that sounds.
Yeah, with whatever that is. Okay.
Yeah, no. But no, I understand, man. It's like I think that's something that people forget a lot of is vote with your wallet. Like when you can vote with your wallet, it's not like it's not necessary or like it's not necessary to buy something that's made somewhere else because your job's on the line or something of the sort. But like when you can buy something or you're trying to save up to buy something, vote with your wallet. If you don't support what the fucked up shit China does, then don't buy shit from China. Like fucking
like I for one, I like the humanity they are showing the Uyghurs, the fact that they're re-educating them, and the fact that they are not taking any shit from the Allah snack bar types over there. So yeah, it's like yay, go China on that. I mean, actually, to be fair, Carl Jha has a very good report on like why a lot of stuff you hear about what China's doing to the Uyghurs in the Western media is actually completely wrong. Because they usually will ignore the timeline of events. They're actually making the Chinese government look way worse than they actually are. So
yeah, I mean, China's in terms of a fucked up kind of totalitarian state. China's the best of the bunch because they do a lot of good shit and they're getting greener. That being said, that's like having the least smelly shit be the least smelly shit. It's still shit.
Yeah.
It's just not as smelly as the other ones.
Yeah, it won't be too much. It won't be too much longer before we're worse than them. That's my prediction.
I think yes, to a degree. I think it's highly likely, but
because we're reaching a point where they will have more economic freedom than we do.
Oh yeah, and but then again, they're also going to live in a dystopian surveillance state. So like as a country, they're gonna. Well, I mean, even worse there. Like fucking. They did an episode of the Grand Tour where they went to China and on the highways, there's just It's almost like if you had epilepsy, you couldn't drive in China just because the amount of camera flashes that go off when you're driving down the highway is fucking astronomical. And they just check to make sure that like it's your car. They make sure that, oh, you don't have anybody in there you shouldn't have. They get your face, your plates, everything. And like they videotaped all this, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, here in the U.S., you already have Andrew Yang, for example, is proposing social credits, where it's just basically the same thing that China has. I think some of the other Democrat candidates are probably going to try to push that. You have the real ID or the real online ID. Austria's government is proposing that already. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're all like the American politicians, the European politicians are all like, oh man, China has such great control over its populace and it could just make them do whatever they want. Yeah, we want that power. Yeah, give us that. We want that. Come on, let's hypercharge the deep state and go straight for the Chinese model. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think that the way shit's going, the only way you're going to be able to survive and have relatively and avoid most of this bullshit is if you start building your doomsday bunker now, you stock it full of enough provisions for the rest of your lifetime and have like 4 spares for everything, and then just live out the rest of your days in the bunker when shit starts going downhill. And that's not much of a life worth living.
No,
but like, I feel like shit's going to get more totalitarian. Fucking there's going to be a lot more anger between the sexes and just individually with the sexes. I mean, more women focusing on careers and not kids.